Hey, boys and girls, weather report for May 6, 2021. So, what's happening? Well, so Professor Dave did a video which triggered James Tour, which triggered Professor Dave, which triggered John Maddox, which came to our attention this morning. Is that kind of the history of the process?
That sounds almost like a little nursery rhyme or something. From when I was a kid. I can't remember which one it is.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. We're all triggered up in here, man. We're all triggered up in here. And we did a little piece last night that apparently also triggered Maddox. So he said some really dumb shit. God, he says dumb shit. You know, he talks about cojones a lot. I think he's got... We shouldn't make fun of him because this is an actual disease. And I think it happens to a lot of creationists. And the problem is they have just a little tiny weenie, but it's not actually tiny. It's really long, but it goes inside instead of outside, and it goes up and it wraps around their caudate nucleus. And that's the part of your brain where you make decisions, and everything you decide sort of is colored in this cojone sort of imagery. I don't know if you get what I mean. I mean, I'm talking technical neuroscience here, but anyway, it's sort of it's referred to as having your cojones in a bunch.
Yeah, I think you should definitely dumb that down because I don't think John will understand.
Yeah, he probably won't.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I could have said basal ganglia instead of caudate nucleus, which is, kind of the action selection mechanism in your brain. And every time John chooses, like when he makes a sentence, and he starts out by saying premise and then cojone, and then he says in any other context, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that is a symptom of having your cojones in a bunch.
Yeah.
And
you mean the word salad that he?
Yeah.
I usually bring, whenever I watch any of his streams, I bring extra dressing because it usually goes well with his streams. Yep. Like a good zesty Italian is pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll have to try that next time.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So let's see if everything's going to work here. Let's get our stuff together to make sure I'm not duplicating audio. Okay, so he started out with his one-on-one thing. He's got this one-on-one series that he's doing where he likes to have atheists ask him questions. This has been very interesting because when atheists come in and ask John questions about his Christianity, no matter what they're talking about, even if they're talking about Muslims and they're not talking about atheists at all, John talks about atheists. He always wraps it around atheists, right? So I got the feeling that his Christianity is some kind of a reaction to atheism more than he's a Christian, because he says he belongs to no denomination, which I take to mean he never went to church. He never participates too much in biblical discussions. He doesn't seem to give a shit. He only wants to do, like standing for truth, he only wants to do evolution, right?
Yeah.
You get that impression? But, trying to pin him down on what he actually believes, he never actually talks about it.
Right. And that's why that whole, when he was on that Germania thing, I wanted to say that because he actually talked a little bit, like for probably less than 5 minutes, about young Earth. He is a young Earth.
Yeah, God,
and he admitted it. Clip. And but he kind of like went, yeah, I'd have to try to get a hold of him to see if he would give it to us. I'm sure he still has it. I don't know why he clipped that out. John was on there for like an hour. It was basically an hour interview with John, and he took that completely off the video. I don't know why.
Maybe John requested it.
I mean, he didn't request it live.
Yeah,
that's for sure. So I don't know. I don't know why Romania does that. I mean, I could maybe try to send him an email or something, or put it in one of his comments or something and ask him for it. But
yeah, I'm always interested in what Maddox believes. So
yeah. I wish, like I said, I wish I recorded that or something. But
because I've tried to make sense of his he does have a public online history going back about 10 years, and I can't make any sense out of what he's doing on his channel, combining that with what I've seen of his history. And I'm confused. I'm very confused.
I mean, everything is ID with John, right? It's, if you don't see that, God created the code in DNA or whatever however he describes it, and that's it. That's all he talks about, and how you could not come to that conclusion. And he, like you said, he doesn't talk biblical very, very little.
Yeah.
And he never talks about his denomination, nothing.
Let's see what his intro here.
Overall, and Answers in Atheist, also known as Speed of Pudding Brain. It's really cracking me up what they're doing, as they're they're still struggling with the whole premise of functional information and not really comprehending the usage of the concept and its relevance in relation to improbabilities and abiogenesis and all different things that we've been talking about. It's really amazing. It really fascinates me how they are not grasping the point. And of course,
okay, so last night we did that whole thing on functional information, which I have temporarily unlisted for editing purposes. And I think we did grasp the point, John, pretty well, because we showed you how to calculate functional information of an enzyme. I didn't do a very good job because I was just dead tired. But I think we managed to delve into functional information pretty well. And I don't understand why he said abiogenesis, because that's not quite what we're talking about. We were talking about, modern cells and functional information in modern cells. And anyway, but what he means by not grasping the point is that we don't see, there's functional information, so there had to be an author of that information. So when he hears the word, his only argument is, like, John could take down everything he's ever said and just say, information, therefore God, period. Because that's the only argument he's ever come up with that I know of. I've never seen any, or scientists said information, scientists said pragmatic syntax, whatever, therefore God. So because and it's just like, and then so the whole thing last night was about what the fuck was it called, complex specified information, right? Which he shortened to specified information, which I searched many papers for that phrase, and nobody that writes papers ever says that except for the ideas. That's all you ever come up with is ID. So I mean, it's just like, what in the fuck? I don't know. Anyway,
and that's where he gets all his information. I mean, right? He's just like every other creationist. They cherry pick and they go for anybody that's a creationist, and they get all their information from those sources pretty much. And I mean, I'm not saying John may look at some papers and certain things, but he definitely, that, like you said, that's his whole argument. He almost never talks about anything else but that, and it's all specific, just that. Therefore, God, God, there's an author to this code, and it's his God. But yet he won't say it's his God. If you notice that too, he never goes to the Christian. I'm not saying that I'm not even saying it's a God. I haven't even got there. He'll say that too. Like he won't talk about it.
Let's see. I have other things clipped, and I'm not sure why.
So earlier today, I came across an interesting video back in 2017 in the Singularity U conference.
Okay. He just goes on about nanomachines, and he shows a bit of a conference, and I actually have that in the description, I think, or at least I have a clip of it, but I may not have that one. But anyway, he shows clips of it, I think, but he doesn't reference where it came from. So I had to go out and find it.
Human, you pluck out a cell, you pull out its gene.
And they're talking about nanomachines in biology or whatever in a conference in 2017. So I had that, and let's see what else.
Talks about if you want to get into this, you better learn a little bit about computing, because if you don't understand an if then else statements and how all that works, then you're just not going to be able to figure out. You're just not going to be able to understand the genome. Like you're
okay. So he just said you have to understand computing, right? Computation theory. And then he said if then else, which would be what you learn in 7th grade now when they teach you how to program. So again, he's talking out of his depth, and he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even realize it. Like computation, the computer theory is if then else. No, John. It's a little more complicated than that. But anyway, any comments, guys? Why are you guys muted? What the fuck?
I agree. John's argument says very little. Like I said, I certainly don't understand the science. That's for sure. I'm not going to claim any of that in any of the computer stuff either. But everything is, God wrote the code, and that's it. And it's a bunch of word salad.
Yeah, that was my point, Jerry. That he thinks that's programming. If you know if then else, but then you need that to learn genetics, right? Well, I think you can read like 5 textbooks, and you'll never see if then else in that textbook. And there's ors and there's ands and there's not, sort of, but they never even talk about that. They don't use logic. They talk about pathways. And I don't know, like else clauses basically are, they're kind of built into the system, into the biochemical pathways. But no, it's not a thing. It's just not a fucking thing. I don't know what he's talking about. He just sounds so out of his depth that it just amazes me.
You're screwed if you don't understand the basics of computing. It's just cracking me up listening to him with the passion in which he was speaking and explaining all this stuff, and the opportunities that we have, and then gets into how we can cut and paste genes and all.
Yeah, he's just going on about that guy. Okay, so then he gets into Professor Dave, and let's see here, Danny, the best way that I can understand that is that there's a strong covariance between various physical states with a certain kind of resilience that explains why organisms survive or reproduce. Well, actually, Danny, there's a mathematical version of it that you can apply to things like enzymes and reactions, and you can apply it to perhaps DNA. But but after that, it gets pretty foggy. And they're working on a lot of theory about that, but they haven't done a whole lot of real good, tangible work yet on it. So, at least not that I've found. Anyway, where are we at here? 1340. Okay, Professor Dave, you ready?
On a side note, for those of you who pay attention, Godzilla Freak was just mentioning this little aside. So today, Professor Wannabe Professor Dave rolled out his rebuttal, part 1 to Dr. Tour's series. And
I'm going to speed this up.
let's just say he is all in on autocatalysis being something that Dr. Tor does not understand, number one. And I mean, he is just going full bore. He also made adamant claims that homochirality.
I think, and I'm getting this from Professor Dave, but I think Tor said that autocatalysis had nothing to do with it or something like that, which would be an absolutely ridiculous thing to say.
Has been solved. And he quoted two papers, one from 2007, I believe, one from 2011 by Blackmond. But the genius forgot or just didn't look, I guess. I don't know. She published a paper in 2019 on the topic. So her papers from 2007, 2011 were discussing about like these hypotheticals, right? Like, oh, could it happen in these contexts? We think there might be potential in, you know, this arena for homochirality to happen. Fast forward to 2019, and it's still, well, nothing we've done so far has any remote plausibility in prebiotic environments. We actually haven't solved anything, and we're like, we figured out some ways to do different things, but none of this stuff is relevant in relation.
Okay, so the paper from 2007 is the one that James Tour mentions, and I believe that one is, let me see here if I can get my papers up. Hold on. Spoiled for Choice, I believe it was, from 2007, where she talks about there are so many different ways that we could approach the homochirality solution that we have too many choices. And Professor Dave talks about that paper. Well, John references a paper from 2019, which is right here, which I went out and found. The autocatalytic models for the origin of biological information, I think. That's the one. Yeah, by Donna Blackmond, 2019. And in that paper, she doesn't say anything of the sort. She doesn't say anything about it being irrelevant. She doesn't say anything about how, you know, hopeless it is. In fact, the conclusion of that paper, let me see here. It's quite a long paper. The conclusion says, and I'm going to try to read, and I'm not, you know, all that good at that, but autocatalysis with asymmetric amplification provides an elegant solution to the question of the emergence of homochirality characterized by two features. One, a symmetry breaking transition that is highly sensitive to small asymmetric influences. And two, a reaction that exhibits a higher order burst of autocatalytic activity. The first feature allows for let's see, high selectivity. The second is required to maintain that selectivity above the noise. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Well, the SOAI reaction remains the sole documented example of the theoretical Frank model for spontaneous asymmetric synthesis. The search to discover an autocatalytic network that exhibits these features and at the same time exemplifies prebiotically plausible chemistry is ongoing. Homochirality might have evolved not as a single reaction or event, but rather a series of persistent chemical and physical processes acting synergistically as a key part of the emergence of life on Earth. And that's kind of what she says in the video that we found. And that is not anywhere near as harsh or dismissive as John makes it sound. So anyway. And the other thing is that homochirality, there's a whole lot more about it that where it could have settled down 100 million years later and been selected for all along the line. And there's a whole lot of papers about that. So these guys keep trying to dismiss this. And John tried to pull a fast one by pointing to a 2019 paper, which doesn't support the point that he made. So, okay, bye, cat. Goddamn cat. You know, you guys want to buy a cat?
No.
Oh,
Just
okay.
put him in a box and send him to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, he's going.
Yeah.
Apparently that's the receiving center for cats.
Yeah. So there's homochirality, and let's see. Now, immutable, could you could you please come in? I'm gonna open this up, the stream. I'm gonna put a link out there. But he goes on about some bullshit about James Stewart. So this is not a very sufficient comeback. I'm pretty sure James Stewart is going to have a more significant comeback. But anyway, I wanted to play this part where John talks about chemistry. And now, for anybody who doesn't know chemistry or organic chemistry, this may not seem like a ridiculous thing to say. But when I heard this, I had to do a little happy dance.
Like, you know, the water paradox and reductionism and everything is reductionist reactions is not a.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm going to slow this down to normal speed because this is one of those precious moments for the YouTube atheist where we just love it.
Like, you know.
Okay, wait a minute. John has studied this for a decade now. He said that the other day. He studied genetics for a decade.
The water paradox and reductionism and everything is reductionist reactions is not a, or sorry, condensation reactions are not a big deal.
Okay. So immutable, did you hear that? Reductionist reactions or reductionism reactions. And then he changed it to connotation reactions.
Do you think maybe he means condensation?
What is it?
Do you think maybe he means condensation reactions?
Could.
He's just using the wrong word.
Yeah, I could see that, but well, yeah, that could be okay. We could give him that, so he stumbled, but I mean, I don't think anybody would have said reductionism for reduction, you know, which is it's not called. If you actually studied any chemistry, even a high school chemistry text from, you know, 9th grade. You're not going to call it reductionism. If you've studied this stuff for 10 years, you just wouldn't say that. I don't think you'd fuck up that way. Of course, I always fuck up with what do I call it? Instead of hydrophobic, I would say homophobic.
Yeah, I don't think that's a organic chemistry thing.
Oh, homophobic? No, I don't think so. Well, when you're looking at homochirality, maybe. I don't know. I can make a case for it. You could see how I could get confused. This is one of those sticking points in a person's brain. But anyway, you know, that happens to people. People do get stuck in their brains. But I'm guessing he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, and he's wrong because
Immutable says he won't be able to come in until around 3. And I guess he means 3 his time. So I don't know. Which meant to be 4, which would be shoot it in the head time. Yeah, but he also wants an email link, if you don't mind.
Oh, I sent him one. I did send you one, Immutable. Just go
there you go.
Goddamn mail.
Maybe he converted to Central Standard Time. Yeah. Maybe people do that.
Yep. Oh, what do we got here? 1635. There must be a little gem.
We don't have to worry about this. There's nothing to see here. And it'll be very interesting to see how that gets expanded. And yeah, so yeah, wannabe Dave, man, he's coming full bore, all out, pedal to the metal, dropping insults left and right, being a complete jerk, and it will be very, very interesting to see how part 2 goes.
Okay, so now something else that's.
Don't you love that comment? Oh, he's dropping in. I mean, for a person like John to say he's dropping insults, really? Like,
yeah.
Professor Dave does not
being a jerk.
And Tor did too.
And John's talking about, you know, somebody else doing that, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that your whole stick, John? That's pretty much all you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Tor was very insulting to Professor Dave, and I think that kind of kicked up some of the dust, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But now here's something really hilarious. And it's hilarious because Otangelo went out and did a big cat's board article on homochirality, and he edited it last night or something, and he wrote a bunch of stuff. based on the James Tour video, right? But then he said this.
Yeah, well, sidebar. Have you watched the whole thing as well, Otangelo?
I was starting to watch, and actually to comment, I watched, let me see here, up to 7 minutes just up to 7 minutes, and I started actually to make a rebuttal in a written form, and I think he started so damn.
Okay, so he watched 7 minutes, and then he started his rebuttal in written form.
Yeah,
and then he sent it to all of us this morning, and it's one of those encyclopedic Otangelo things.
Yeah.
After 7 minutes, that was just like the intro, right? It's like
you should have let that video go for another like 2 seconds. Did you hear what he said? It sounded.
Okay.
He said he sounded so stupidly or something. He says, listen to it for a few more seconds.
Okay.
Stupidly, it's staggering. Start to make a rebuttal in a written form, and I think he started so damn stupidly. It's staggering.
What was the second word?
Stupidly. I mean, hey, I got to give it. It's.
No, what came after that?
English, but I don't know. I have to give it to him. He's, his English is probably a little bit. He was obviously a little emotional there, so he was trying to spit something out, and he struggled there because obviously he's triggered by this. So emotional.
Yeah, 7 minutes, and he goes and does that, and he stays up all night doing a cat's board thing and sends it to us all this morning.
Right. So talk about trigger.
That really, I found very interesting. So in his little clip of his, I guess he interviewed Lee Cronin, and one of the things that Cronin is talking about, and that Dave uses as supposed, in favor of the autocatalysis and such, is Cronin's paper.
Okay, this is also very precious for, and Immutable. I hope you're paying attention.
Or paper he was involved in on inorganic autocatalysis, and I'm like, so you're doing this with a metal? That seems kind of, I find that rather interesting that you're going to go all in on that and use something that's inorganic as your supposed explanation for something. It's like, so you're not even doing anything that's relevant to I'm talking from the actual elements being used, relevant to origin of life. But then,
okay, metals are very relevant to the origin of life. I don't know if you've heard of minerals, but they're a thing, and we kind of need them. But that's hilarious to me that he would pick on that part of it, right? That they're talking about metal catalysis, right? And particularly when you're dealing with abiogenesis, you're dealing with metal catalysis is one of the big things that enter the picture right from the fucking beginning. It's just. But he doesn't think because it's inorganic, based on the elements used. It's like, what are you talking about? You think we only have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen? That's all we can work with? Otherwise, it's not life beginning. It's not abiogenesis. I don't know. Maybe I'm picking on him too much. I don't know. But oh, fuck me. So. Let's see. He goes on a little bit.
Claiming that this is evidence in favor of your position. Does that make sense?
Well, they try to use that explanation in regards to attempt to explain the origin of metabolism.
Did he say the origin of naturalism?
That's what he said.
Yep. Okay. We're done with we're done with
metabolism. He didn't say metabolism,
did he? He might have. Let's see.
Explain the origin of metabolism. In regards
maybe
to attempt to explain the origin of metabolism.
Yeah, I guess he did. Yeah, okay. You got it.
We know that in order to have metabolism, it is like an assembly
metabolism.
line. And there you have to have various robots.
I need a babble fish. sometimes, but okay. But yeah,
I did the same thing. I swear he said naturalism.
well,
He says that all the time. He's always
because in the next 2 minutes he starts talking about naturalism.
right,
again.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
so-
right, exactly. Because
Yeah,
I
that
watched
sounds
it.
almost identical. So anyway,
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, but that's about as far as I really care to go with this. So
Yeah.
I think Otangelo. I think him and Otangelo are like they're going on about this for quite a while. Is this Professor Dave? Did he? No, somebody's faking Professor Dave's account, right? That should be fucking illegal.
7 minutes.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, so we're done with that.
Yeah.
And let's see. So I put an invite out there. So anybody like Midnight and Top Dog, I don't know if you're around.
If you would, whenever you want, if you want to mention, I put in the private chat that link for Amanda's thing on MathPigs. So if you want to bring that up anytime you'd like.
Okay, in the description, there is a GoFundMe for Pale Blue Mama, formerly Mama Atheist,
That's correct.
who is in a very difficult domestic living situation, and she needs some help.
Hello.
And she has so there's an active GoFundMe right now. You can go donate to it via that link. And there's going to be a 24-hour marathon this weekend, I think you said, on MathPig's channel.
Yeah, that's what the link that I left was. That's MathPig's thing.
You got it. Okay.
Yep. That link is MathPig's thing. It starts tomorrow. I believe 5:00 Eastern time. I think tomorrow, and it goes for 24 hours. You should be able to get all the information when it starts or whatever. It's like it says on there 17 channels or 14 channels, something like that. Like, yeah.
Oh shit. We should duplicate that, because that is something that we should donate for, because I made a donation for my daughter's estate, because even though it has my name on it, but I made that because my daughter was caught in a situation with domestic violence, and it ended her life. And it's something that's very important to me, that we support people who need that kind of help. So anyway.
I don't know the details of her situation, but but everybody's trying to help out. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can't I wanted it to say the estate of Faye Elizabeth Brown, which is my daughter, but actually they wouldn't let me modify it or something. I don't know. You can change it, but anyway. So let's see. I got to copy the link. Amanda's moving marathon.
Hopefully it should be a great, the 24-hour thing. I don't know what they're gonna do, but boy, who else? Several people did it. What's his name? Your friendly neighborhood atheist, the young kid there. What's his name? He did like a marathon thing. And did you guys ever see that? That was.
I don't think so.
He did a long marathon. What the hell was he? He was raising funds, and now I can't even remember what the hell he was raising money for. This was probably going back, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago. He did a marathon thing, and he had, all the top YouTubers on, and he'd like have people on for like 20 minutes, and it went on. It was a real long stream. He did an awesome job. It was an incredible, undertaking to set that all up, organize all those people. There had to have been 40 or 50 people on there. Like,
wow.
All the top names on YouTube. Like, you'd know tons of people, right?
Yeah.
You should go on his. I'm sure it's on there, but it's obviously it's a long thing. But you could just kind of peek at it and see. Maybe I'd have to go back to see it. He must still have it on his YouTube channel. And what he did to organize that whole thing was amazing. So I assume MathPig is doing probably almost identical to that. It's probably very similar to that.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
Also Oz. Remember, Oz did that debate marathon thing. How he did that was pretty cool. So to set that all up and coordinate that is quite the undertaking, I would think. So
Yeah.
I can imagine this thing that MathPig set up is going to be pretty amazing.
Yep. So check that out. Go hit the GoFundMe and go give them some money.
Yep.
Do something good. Makes you feel good when you do something good for somebody on a daily basis. So I don't know. Let's see. So praise I am that I am, and will, or as he's now known, what is he called? I can't. Where is it? He's called the dysfunctional raccoon is called salvific deputy. What the fuck is that?
Yeah, I have no idea. That kid.
Do you want to set this up? With your ongoing battle with Cheryl.
It doesn't bother me.
Okay, go ahead, set it up. I'll share the screen. We're just gonna play the little Will clip for like a minute or so, and then we'll go on and we'll just open up the topic. Okay.
What do you want me to? You're gonna do it on yours, or what do you mean?
Yeah, I'm sharing. I'm yeah.
Okay.
I'm sharing. I like to share. I love sharing, especially with you guys.
Yeah.
Kinder, softer, speeder sound.
Yeah.
That was the kinder, softer, speeder sound talking about Maddox's cojones problem too. I wanted to draw attention to that disability because it's
right. Speed.
Yep, I'm a nice person, and you know it. Okay, go ahead, David.
So this Praise was doing a little stream here, and he had it's called Deflate. Some YouTube guy, he's a theist, and he was doing a thing on that. So it started off with Praise talk, going over this. It was like a little review thing of his. So I jumped into the stream and I made a couple of comments because Praise was going on about this guy, beating down atheism. But the guy also mentioned several things during his little spiel about Christians, on how Christians behave. They love their neighbors. They're moral. He talks about the morals and how how superior they are, right? But Praise never seems to mention that. So I made a few comments in the side chat about it. I said, Praise, you should mention what he's talking about with the Christians, not just what he's saying about atheism, right? So I made a couple of comments. And then Cheryl came after me because we have a little ongoing thing. She seems to think that I want a threesome with her and Gavin for some reason. And I don't know why that is.
Because you wanted to have coffee, right? At some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because anytime I go into Praise his channel, and if I make any comments, her and Gavin just pounce all over me because, of course, I'm an atheist. So they just don't like they're very bitter towards atheism, especially Gavin. We all know how Gavin behaves, right? I mean, he just despises atheists. So he just attacks you in there. So I tend to throw some insults back. So at one point, I had a conversation with Cheryl on MDD. And I said, the comments that I said was, hey, maybe we should get together sometime and have a talk, and get together. And maybe you can, relieve some of this hatred that you have towards atheism if you just got to know me, right? That was what I basically said. We should get together. And that was it. And she's saying we should get together and have a threesome. That's the way she took it. And then I returned and said, Cheryl, that's not what I meant. I meant get together and talk, not have a threesome.
To be honest, that kind of seems, I don't know, the way you phrased, like I know what you meant, but
okay, you're absolutely right. It sounded that way, but I actually did mean, hey, we should get together on a stream and actually talk Maybe
Mhm.
if we had an actual conversation, you wouldn't have so much hatred towards me. Or I'm like, you don't even know me. There was a lot of back and forth. We had, made comments in the side. You're talking in side chat, so you're limited to what you can say, right? And a lot of stuff is taken out of context, right? Yeah, that happens all the time. So she has been going on about this for a long time. This has been going on for like 4 weeks now. So in here, I made a few comments, and then she wrote, "Oh, he's just in here trying to proposition me and Gavin." And I wasn't even talking to her. I didn't say a word to her, and she wrote that. So that's
I've got I've got some of the chat captured here on a screen, but then okay, now so Will, the rabid Canadian raccoon, was confused about your name, Lori Hayes, right?
Right,
Which
right,
you're using,
right.
And then the conversation. I don't know where it started, but we started at 41:15.
That's
so
right.
then,
Where it's at, yeah.
So Will was questioning why a lady should talk like this or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, listen to what he says. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, why don't you play a little bit of it and see.
What? Are you a woman? Are you a woman?
Well, I guess I don't know. Well, I guess some men are named Lori, but very few men.
I mean, how can a woman even be authoritative at this point? Doesn't make sense. Woman nowadays.
I'm still trying to figure out what the.
Dannykins. Wait, was he saying that women can't be
authoritative?
Dominant?
Yeah,
authoritative, dominant, whatever. Wow, misogynistic much?
Yeah.
So as you can see right there on the screen, right? That's what I wrote right there, right? She wrote, "He's in here trying to proposition me and Gavin." And I wrote right there, you can see it. It says, "You have a dirty mind," right? I can't read it. What does it say there?
Okay.
I wanted to get together, but not in the way you're talking about. So I clarified it again to her. I said, I want to get together, but not in the way you're talking about, to maybe actually have a chat on a live stream, and maybe she won't hate me so much. An actual conversation. So, yeah.
Cheryl says, Gavin Herleman, Lori Hayes is here looking for you and I, trying to proposition us again.
Right, that was the first one, and then she says threesome after that. In one of the next comments that she makes, she actually says threesome.
That must be a little further down. Yeah,
she's a little tapped. Like, and I keep saying to her, you really have a dirty mind. I don't know what your problem is. I've said it over and over and over again that I wanted to have a chat. And Gavin has constantly tried to come after me. Like anytime I make a comment, he's just really nasty, right? And he's always said, "Oh, come in to praise his channel," right? Not in this lifetime, because he just mute me and kick me and whatever. So I wouldn't. Plus, Gavin is, I mean, really, who wants to talk to Gavin? Not me, anyway.
So, nobody wants to talk to Gavin.
Yeah, he's just, the man's got some issues, and I have no desire to talk to him. And I said, well, and he's always trying to say, "Oh, be a man and step up and come in here." So
does being a man entail going on stream without pants? Is that what a man is?
Oh yeah, he's constantly saying stuff like that all the time to me too, especially. He says it to me all the time.
Yeah, I want to put this in the description too. So let's see.
And I did say to him, I said, "Well, why don't you? I don't see you coming to any other channels. Like, he doesn't go to any atheist channels and come into their live streams and have chats with people, right? Ever. He never does that. He just stays in his little cave there with praise and doesn't go any. I mean, he did go to T-Jump's thing, but that was a debate. Anytime he goes anywhere else, it's an actual formal debate, but he would never go anywhere else to actually have a conversation with somebody, ever.
So I'm not sure where they. I'm not sure where they went after that. Lori has propositioned Gavin and I for a threesome and now denies it. Oh my God! And I saw those original chats, and you did not proposition them for a threesome.
I didn't. And when she said that, when she implied that after, well, at least she thought I implied it, and then she said that, I clarified it immediately. I said I meant talk. We should get together and actually talk on a live stream. I meant actually praises. We could, I would jump in if her and Gavin were willing. I would have done that. And that's exactly what I said. And she's been going on about this forever, for like 4 or 5 weeks now.
Wow.
Anytime I make a comment in any live stream, she's always after me about it. So,
oh my God.
And you should hear all the praise is cracking up. If you listen to it, you could speed it up. And he goes on and on. He's cracking up because the talk of threesome in the chat. He's going, what the hell's going on here? This is like Maury Povich and whatever. It's pretty funny.
I've got it up to 125. So that we'll try it.
What? Are you a woman? Are you a woman?
Well, I guess I don't know. I guess some men are named Lori, but very few men.
I mean, how can a woman even be authoritative at this point? Doesn't make sense.
Authoritative. How can you be authoritative?
I'm still trying to figure out what the heck that means. When has Cheryl ever refilled a dirty mind on this channel?
What?
Well, apart from Smokey calling her a spiritual whore.
Who?
Smokey?
No, but what women are you talking about?
Smokey keep calling her a spiritual whore.
Yeah, I don't necessarily condone that everything that Smokey does, but I understand where he comes from. So he doesn't use whore in the same context as what the world does.
Yeah.
Whore is just someone that is
what the fuck?
biblically idolatrous and that type of in that type of context. So,
well, I'm probably gonna hop off here. I got some stuff to do. But were you just doing a stream exposing other?
What the frick? What is going on in the scenes behind the scenes? We have freaking Lori has propositioned Gavin and I for a threesome. Oh man, Lori.
Oh my God.
Good gosh, don't you have a man?
What the fuck? So he has no idea who you are, really.
Yeah, Praise doesn't, but Gavin and Cheryl do. They do.
Yeah.
Because they checked me out. Like, as soon as this whole thing started, Cheryl, of course, started asking around, and who the hell was this person? And then so she found out. Yeah, she knows.
Oh, God.
So does Gavin. Gavin knows too, but it was pretty funny. And Praise was freaking out. Like I said, it's like a soap opera in my side chat. And it was pretty funny.
Yep. Okay. We done?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's
okay.
It was funny.
Yeah. Well, what a day.
Cheryl, I mean, you can read some of your side chat here. Lena has had many problems with Cheryl, and so is Jay. I mean, she's threatened to have the FBI on Jay.
Oh yeah, Knock too.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Her family is FBI, and she's going to sick them on everybody.
Yeah. Like, she's a secret agent.
Right. Because Knock doxed her when she was using her goddamn name, and all he really did was use the fact that she was using her full name as an example of what would not be doxing. Right. I mean,
right. Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, she's a little batshit crazy. If you look at some of the comments that Lena has made, she's definitely a little batshit crazy.
Yeah, what the hell? So, let's see. I gotta change.
So I picked the wrong one to mess with, I guess. So and like I said, it was like she's so hateful, she's so protective of Gavin, and I've given her a hard time about that. I've said, why would you being a woman, be so protective of Gavin because Gavin is so demeaning to women, like
Right.
silent woman, and you can't speak over a man, and all his biblical crap, like, and Cheryl just defends him to no end. And then look at Gavin, he behaves like that. Man goes on public with no pants on and no shirt on all the time. It's like, really, how could you defend a man like that? Like, what's wrong with you? That's
And then Will with that misogynist bullshit. How could a woman be authoritative?
Right. That's the biblical crap, because a woman has to be silent in church, right? A woman, right? That's the whole, and they're supposed to be submissive at home and all that, like all that crap that's in the Bible.
And he's a teenager. Would you like him dating your daughter? I wonder.
Can you imagine that?
I wonder if she's supposed to be silent when they're out on a date. I don't know.
And then if he ever dated or had any type of relationship or married a woman, I mean, then if the woman is not submissive and doesn't, now then that can turn into violence, right? And that's what happens to that kind of a relationship, right? I mean, it's really scary stuff.
Will is still young enough to where he hopefully can be helped. Like once he reaches 18, or you know what I mean? Like, people do change, but I don't know.
I hope so, because the way he is now, I mean, he behaves like these adult men that are just real fundamentalist Christians, and that's a scary thing.
Yeah,
it's also very weird when you think about there's a 15-year-old hanging out with, I don't know how old everyone is, but
Right.
I grew up in the misogynist 50s and 60s, and went to that Presbyterian church when I was little, and and there was a Christian community there with Lutherans and Catholics. I never heard anything about women not having a voice in the church back then even, right? I mean,
they can't be pastors. I know that.
Yeah, but I don't think nobody ever said any shit like that back. As far as I know, that was not something that people talked about, like women not having any authority or not having a voice. I think my mom would have fucking hit my dad with a crowbar if he said something like that. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know where this shit came from. It seems almost like it's like they've gone back into the Bible and they brought up some new shit, for the current times that really didn't even exist back in the 50s and 60s. But maybe it did. I'm not sure. I don't know. Oh, Dessel, fuck you. I'm tired of being a boomer.
Yeah.
Shit. Anyway, what else?
I don't know. I think that probably was a little bit, back. I suppose you'd have to go back at least to the early 50s or in the 50s and prior to that.
Well, after World War II, there was quite a bit of liberation for women that started up then that culminated in like the 60s and the 70s. So, I mean, it was already building steam.
Right.
But I mean,
and that was
women
probably
ran the house.
Right. That was probably probably a big part of that was because of the war, right? Because a lot of the women stepped up and had to go to work, right?
Yeah.
Or the war effort. So that's kind of what started it, right? So that's what I mean by you'd have to go before that, but it still continued on, but it took a long time. It was probably still going on in the 50s, but by the time you hit the 60s, it improved quite a bit. And because of World War II, right? Yeah.
The kind of misogyny I saw back then was that, the men wouldn't take care of the kids and stuff like that. It was usually in relation to the kids.
Right.
And
Yep.
That sort of thing that, I don't know.
Yep.
Also, the woman couldn't have her own credit card until up in the 70s. And then I think banks just would not loan a woman money.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. That was just, holy shit, man. Okay, speaking of that, I watched a series. There's 10 parts on Amazon Prime called Them, Them, and it is about racism and a little bit of supernatural stuff. And it is like it's worth watching, but I had a hell of a time watching it. The only thing I can tell you is that the ending kind of wraps it up rather well, so that you'll feel better when it ends. You'll feel pretty good when it ends, actually. But during the entire thing, you will be absolutely enraged at the kind of racism that this country is just sick with. I mean, it's just like, holy shit, did they do a good job? And the acting is just tremendous. It's really worth watching.
This is
Though
Amazon Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime, but it's very difficult to watch.
What was the other show you talked about that's on HBO Max?
Oh, what the fuck was that one?
Love something?
Oh, God.
Woman or Promising Woman?
Promising Young Woman was a good movie.
Well, no. I'm talking about the show. Yeah, the show Love Something. You know, to where people
What the fuck was that? God, shit. TV shows disappear from my mind. No, it's what the fuck was it? It's a current series. It's one of the new series. It's on HBO.
You wouldn't believe what went on yesterday. You want to talk about racism? Everybody's familiar with Jill. Midnight. Did you see the thing that Jill did on his channel last night? The
no,
Jeopardy
I don't
thing?
keep up. I don't keep up with Uncle Ruckus.
I don't either. I never follow that, but somebody talked about it. So I was like, oh, I got to go. I'm going to go take a look at that. And I went over to Jill's channel and watched it for probably 2 minutes. It was awful. It was Veckel, P-Mars, and Smokey. And Jill set up this Jeopardy game. And it was the most racist thing you could imagine. You have to go see it. It would be difficult for me to explain it because I don't know. I couldn't tell you what the questions were, but they were a lot about the police brutality and all that stems with the Black Lives Matter and all kinds of questions.
Made
like that.
for Love. That's the thing. Well, that's what I'm thinking of. Sorry to interrupt you, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was bad. You guys should go. Take a peek at that for 2 minutes, and it's like,
I don't really care, honestly.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, Made for Love was a really good kind of sci-fi series, sort of.
Amazon Prime, Dem.
It's on Prime too.
Isn't that what you said?
No,
You said
Made for
Amazon
Love.
Prime.
Them is on Prime, and Made for Love is on HBO.
Yeah, no, I know. I was saying Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
Like speaking of Amazon Prime, but who here has watched the series Incredible? Sorry, Invincible. Invincible. My bad.
I just finished it. That took a dark fucking turn.
A dark fucking tone. It was dark from day one. What are you talking about?
No, but I mean, the last 2 episodes, it got like even too dark for me to watch. It's like, God. I mean, I should have had a parental control on.
I mean, Invincible is basically if Superman went insane.
Robert Kirkman is behind it, so it's got to go dark at some point.
Wait, who? Who's behind him?
Robert Kirkman, the guy behind The Walking Dead.
Yeah, right.
But it was like, dude, I loved it, but it was so gory at times. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Some of the beatdown scenes were a little much. I don't know. They could have lightened up.
I mean, I can't wait till season 2. Honestly, like there was humor. Like a lot of people are really hating on Amber because she's like, oh well, you know what I mean? Everyone hates Amber now.
So anyway, we don't have a hell of a lot more today to talk about, do we?
I mean, we could talk about how awesome you are.
Could I get off work early?
I mean, you can. It's your stream.
No, I know what I want to talk about. I thought I did a really bad job with that information too last night, and it really, really bothered me because it was really important for me to try to explain the number one, what Swami Das was doing with functional information, and number two, what I saw as functional information with the diagrams, that sort of thing. And I just thought I fucked it up, and it just didn't go well. And I don't know, I even fucked up some of the math, and it bothered me. So I would like to redo that part of it and put it out there again at some point, because I think it's a really interesting subject. Might be fun to talk to Walker and Dr. Dan about it. I don't know. And maybe fight about it a little bit, because I don't think he's a big fan of, the information bullshit in biology. But anyway, I thought I did shitty, and I apologize. I'm just not, I'm having trouble doing this stuff after 7 p.m. at night. My mind just is not right, Maybe I'm overdosed on coffee by that time, and I'm just ready to go to sleep. I'm ready to watch television. I'm not ready to talk biology. I don't know. So,
yeah, standing for poop has been bringing up Walker. Making some comments about Walker. A little
really?
Bit. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Why?
He was just saying that Walker doesn't have any. I think it was. He was just saying, he doesn't have any arguments. He won't, debate me. I mean, because he was arguing the other day. I think it was in praises. He had jumped in, and remember, did I mention it yesterday that he was arguing with Erica on the side chat, and then he brought up Walker at the same time. Just complaining that nobody will address this, or that his arguments, and nobody will debate him. Erica won't debate. It was.
Yeah, the reason we won't debate Standing for Truth is because it has to occur on his fucking channel. Okay, right. If he would do a tit for tat and come over here once in a while, or over to Erica's channel, and I mean, when have you ever seen Standing for Truth on somebody else's channel?
Right. He brought that up too. He mentioned that and says, I've been over the speeds many times. I've jumped in.
Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. Yeah, months and months. 6 months ago, if not longer, right?
Yeah, he keeps getting his butt handed to him, and he's, they're all like that. Once you start handing them their ass, they want to only do it in their arena. And in his arena, a debate amounts to him preaching and him saying created heterozygosity and gene conversion, and just running down his list and showing his same PowerPoint presentation, right, which I think I saw the first time over a year ago. So I don't know. He wants to preach, and that's all he wants to do. And he wants an atheist to use as a sounding board for his preaching during a debate. And I want to have discussions with him if he really wants to get serious. And fucking John Maddox too, if you really want to actually drill down to this information stuff, come on over here and do a one-on-one. And I swear we won't treat you badly. We didn't last time he came in. In fact, I apologized to him last time he came in. So, right. I mean, what the a little tit for tat. And there are a few of us who are not willing to go on at Standing for Truth's channel and be nothing more than a sounding board for his preaching. Right. And that's that. So SFT, if you're listening, all you got to do is a little, share a little tit for tat. Come over here once in a while. Spread yourself around, get to know us. Otherwise, fuck you. You go debate yourself. That's basically what he does anyway.
Oh, Speed, you're so nice.
I'm a good guy.
And John's been spreading his wings a little bit. He's been going on he was over at Amy's a few days back.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So he has been spreading his wings a little bit, bouncing into places. So, and I was surprised, like you said, him coming here that day. That was, obviously that's a very unusual thing for him.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I agree. I think a little tit for tat.
Yep.
So
no one can address X.
Yep.
He means he doesn't understand the people who have addressed X. Right. Yeah. Yeah, like you keep, I mean, Standing for Truth keeps getting shot down by Dr. Dan and Erica and everybody. And he just gets right up and spews exactly the same shit over again. And then he publishes it in a book. And that gets shot down. And then he publishes another book with the same thing in it. It's like, what the hell? What are they thinking? I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway. So we get off work early today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see. What else did I? You know, there was. Well, I don't know if you. There was one other thing that Ontangelo did a little thing. If you want to pick on Ontangelo,
he did.
He did and that interview that on Gromania's channel there, right? It was like a 2-hour stream, and Germania started off interviewing Ontangelo, and that went on for about an hour, and then John jumped in. And remember, I told you he deleted or removed John's part,
right?
So, yeah, and Ontangelo jumped in, and I actually, what I kind of pinpointed, it was a typical Ontangelo was, Gromania asked him a few questions about, you need to explain this, this, and this. Well, and it's a typical Ontangelo. Well, I don't have to have an explanation for the explanation, but he was, and Gromania was masterful on the way he was asking his questions. Like, well, you're expecting me to have answers for abiogenesis and how the universe started and all that. You want all the explanations, but you won't provide any. So it was a typical Ontangelo.
Yeah,
but I thought it was kind of interesting. So it's nothing new, but I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, I tend to fall asleep sometimes during Ontangelo.
Yeah. But I like the way Gromania questioned him. The way he presented it, and but it was typical Ontangelo's responses that I don't need an explanation for the explanation, and it was like, oh, it was awful. So,
yep.
Anywho,
Immutable says he'll be here in 10 minutes. Whoops!
Yeah,
I keep clicking on the wrong thing.
We're going to be gone in 5.
That's me. It keeps moving. Damn it!
What's that? Oh, what?
It said being around. I keep clicking on the wrong banner.
That was James Tour responding to Professor Dave.
That was you giving me a headache. Thank you.
Was that loud?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Not sorry.
Yeah, well, it wasn't very loud yesterday, so I thought I'd replay it because I just wanted everybody to hear what he had to say. James Tour.
You could just say gibberish, 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 gibberish. That works just as well.
Okay, can we shoot this in the head?
I mean, yes. I need to go shopping soon anyway, grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So let's shoot it in the head, everybody. Let's put it in the bed. I don't know.
It's sunny as shit out here, and I want to get outside and maybe go for a drive or something.
I mean, at least you're not an albino. You can stay outside all you want. Me?
Actually, I'm half Irish, and the half Irish ended up on my skin, and I burn like crazy. So.
Okay, well, touche.
Yeah, and the fucking freckles. And now my freckles are actually getting bigger as I age. I'm like,
so
what?
You're a ginger. Wow, I never knew that.
What the hell? Well, I got a little bit of red hair. My mom was redhead, so she was pure Irish. So anyway, McMahon was her name.
Actually, no, I won't finish that.
Scott, you having a little conversation with MathPig there about the thing this weekend?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just wanted to see if they had a monetary goal to try to reach.
I think they do. It's on the GoFundMe page, but I think they might surpass.
I didn't know if they were going to raise it because raise the top dollar because they're close to meeting it already.
Oh shit! Did we, Andrew? Thursday nights is it Thursday? Yeah, I can't do anything on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
So did we set something up and I forgot about it, or
Maybe he forgot that we were on yesterday.
Yeah. So anyway, Andrew, I can't do. I can do it tomorrow night or any other night, but Thursday nights. So I'm always booked on Thursday nights. So yeah,
What do you do again?
We're going to do a thing on genetic entropy, I believe. So anyway, I'll reach out to you via text, Andrew, and we'll discuss it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, no, I have full Irish skin, and I'm entirely 100% Polak inside. So Christopher wanted to know if I have half an Irishman skin, foreskin. Anyway, did I say that out loud? Anybody have anything to say before I kill this thing? No, fuck you don't.
Stay curious.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Cowabunga.